Hello and welcome to this week's episode. They've been doing it all day, sir. I am never going to the Commbank again. It is cursed. Let's get stuck in.
How's your week been, mate?
Oh, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Well, actually, tale of two halves. Tale of 2 days. Decided last minute to go to the Commbank on Sunday.
Shocking decision.
Never, ever in my life am I going there again. I think we've seen Manly win once there.
Yeah. Well, you said that in 2000, and I think when we were there in 2023 or 24, when we were leaving after an absolute disgraceful performance.
Yeah.
Then last season when we were there watching them against the Eels, we were saying the exact same thing. So you could imagine the shock what I saw when you messaged me going, last minute decision to go to the Commbank, you're coming, and I went, no.
I couldn't believe it. Like, I took my son and I thought, do you know what? It's a good stadium to go and watch because quite big, quite accessible. But I was just getting so infuriated by, what was it, 17 errors?
Yeah, 17 errors.
We'll get onto the game in a bit, but like my blood was boiling. I just walked out of the stadium. We left early. Didn't even do, the little video that I do at the end. Usually didn't even do that because I was so angry. And then, it was just a nightmare. But then couple that with what happened on Monday.
Yeah.
England beating Mexico. It was absolutely phenomenal. We'll touch on that in a second because I know we usually talk about footy, but the World Cup is something else. But you had a good result on
so while
Sunday.
You were venturing out to the Commbank, we were at home at Forestville.
Up the Ferrets.
Got a cheeky 50-0 win. So we promised the goal. I think it's very much an American football thing, but if you stop a team from scoring, the defensive coaches normally buy donuts for the defense. As we stopped them from scoring this week, we said we'll bring donuts to the next training session for the whole team. Rightly deserved. Ran out 50-0. We had quite an honest, I think, film session last Wednesday.
Honesty is the best policy.
Like we dug into what did well because there was sparks of brilliance during the game, but then there was also sparks of not brilliance,
not too brilliant,
which we highlighted and we talked through, and everything we asked for from the team they produced on Sunday. One of the big things was support. They were flying around each other, supporting each other, which was so much better. The line speed was brilliant in defence and attack. Everything was just a lot more fluid and a lot more calmer. So some fantastic individual performances. Our fullback again, she scored last week. She scored a hat trick this week.
Not bad.
We've got
the Forestville Ferrets, Milky Jenkins. There we go.
The centres were scoring for fun as well. Fantastic try from our one of our props of the front rows as well, just flying through the defensive line. Just did not
attacking
stop
from all angles by the sound of it.
Honestly, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. So big up them. We've got a bye this week, but then top of the table. We're now top of the table clash not next week and the weekend after.
Tasty. I might come along to it. What date's that? The
19th, I think it is.
I might come along. We'll 19th. See what's going.
But yeah.
But sports-filled agenda, and look, like I said, we don't usually talk much soccer, but with it being the World Cup, Monday was one of the biggest emotional roller coasters I think I've ever been on.
It was just absolute pandemonium. I was watching it in work. Like you read the red card, like the big events. I think the ref got right. The two penalties were penalties. The red card was a red card in modern football, but the stubbornness of England and just. Take about Jude Bellingham, Jordan Pickford, and Dan Burns.
Dan Burns made the most clearances ever.
I think everyone in an England shirt around the world went, "Why the hell is he bringing him on?"
Didn't he come on for Harry Kane as well, or something like that? It was ridiculous.
And Tuchel, yes.
My admiration of Thomas Tuchel is endless, right? When he was at Chelsea, for those that don't know, he was manager of Chelsea. Chelsea's owner got done for being part of the Russia-Ukraine war, so Chelsea had to sell their club to an Americans. Americans came in and Thomas Tuchel was thrown under the bus, basically got rid of, and he was probably one of the most passionate managers Chelsea have ever had. And tournament football, I've said this before, was his specialism. There was one time when Chelsea didn't know they were in limbo about the finances of the club. He said he would drive the bus to get the players there. And there's one thing, and we were talking about it just before, there's that video of John Stones feigning the shoulder injury and then giving it the pump. And you can just see by his reaction how much he loves it. Yeah. The geezer knows what he's doing. And there were so many moments in this game. You mentioned about your girls flying out and covering well. Like Harry Kane summed it up perfectly. England were covering every blade of grass. Where do you think it ranks in England performances?
I think that is. I think it's quite close to the. But then there was drips and drabs. I think with all the adversity and everything was stacked against the altitude. Playing Mexico and Mexico.
Fucking what altitude?
Yeah,
have that. Stick your tacos up your ass.
There was so much going against England.
Yeah.
Penalty, red card. I think it is probably the best World Cup performance, as a whole
Tournament performance, I think.
I think I've witnessed, just because of, as you said, Jed Spence came on and made it so difficult.
I was concerned when he came on.
Exactly. Same with Dan Burn. Like the stick he got after the Congo game, Jed Spence, but he comes on, he made it so difficult for that right hand side winger to get the ball in. He was jockeying, slowing everything down. But absolutely in attack, just looked again, just being able to fly away. For Anthony Gordon, take a bow, like again, the abuse that he was getting.
I was like, that's a £120 million penalty that he'd won. They justified his tag for Barcelona.
So yeah, I personally think it's the best World Cup England performance I've witnessed.
I agree, witnessed, and I actually ranked it. Obviously, I wasn't around for the 1966 World Cup, but that's obviously going to be the number one because we won a World Cup. I put it second to that. I don't think there's any other performance that. Yeah, all right. People can say, it's only Mexico. I agree, player for player.
It's still 10th in the world.
Player for player, though, we blow them off the park. But to go to the Azteca altitude, which I think Bellingham came out after and said, it wasn't really a problem. But just to defensively be so solid, penalty, sloppy from Kane, first goal, look, it was a clearance by Konsa that just dropped straight.
Straight to him. And that's the thing, 9 times out of 10, there's probably an England player flicking that on.
Yeah.
It stood right there. And it's such a hard clearance. You're running towards your goal to even get it away from the goal. It just fell.
Pickford was phenomenal.
Oh, the boy's a nutter.
He is. But look, I'm going to be honest as well. We've got a tough test in Norway coming up.
Yeah,
and do you know who?
Haaland
is going to be an absolute beast. But the one player that I feel most sorry for from all of this is Jordan Henderson. How unfortunate. He's just copied Dan Burn jumping over the thing, slipped obviously because it's wet, gone down and snapped his arm. Wrist, arm. But he came out in the pre-match press conference with Tuchel and they had that banter about the Viagra tablets and everything. You can tell he's around the team for the morale purposes. And I reckon the boys might give it for Hendo next game, but tough. Odegaard, Haaland.
Who's their goalkeeper? He had an absolute worldie of a performance against Brazil.
He kept him in it. They're there for the taking though.
They are, but you can't sleep on them. Like Haaland's second goal was
my word.
It's just so nonchalant.
It's like his backlift and struck it, and then Alisson couldn't even get there. It was so accurate. I've started watching his YouTube channel as well. He's a funny geezer.
It looks quite funny. I've seen snips.
Did you see him go out after the Dallas game?
Yeah,
after they
got a cowboy hat.
Got a cowboy hat, and he was just dropping. Geezer's just signed that year contract for God knows how much, but he was just dropping cash for everyone. They were all just dressed as cowboys. Love the geezer, but I hope he has a terrible game on Sunday morning. But let's get into tomorrow night, State of Origin. It's the decider. It's some of the selections as well. More and more's coming out. Brian Toto, is he just a scapegoat? Is Bostock actually going to make a difference with the high ball? All that sort of stuff. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not really excited for it, if I'm honest.
No, neither am I. I think it could be an absolute massacre, especially if Queensland get going early. They just their attack has been incredible across the three games, the 2 games. Sorry, they've got so much.
They've dominated.
They really have. New South Wales don't look like they've got a game plan at the moment, which is quite worrying. But look, anything can happen.
It's one game.
It's one game. There's some big names in there that need to put out some big performances. I like Liam Martin being called back in. I think he's very similar to as I was saying last week about Lindsay Collins, just finding this additional energy when it comes to Origin. I think Liam Martin's that as well.
He scored as well for the Panthers at the weekend, so getting a bit of traction ahead of the game. But Mitch Moses is on kind of last legs. He's got to perform. Cleary got to turn up. But my biggest worry is Hamole Olakawatu is on the bench, right? He's got to be used effectively. You've got to give him early ball. You've got to allow him to make defenders miss rather than getting the ball at a standstill and trying to do something. He's not that kind of player. and I don't think one of Olaquati or Kohler is going to get on. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm not mad, but they're two strike weapons.
Not exactly angry at that, but
no, I think Bradman Best is the right call as well.
Yeah, he's a dominant force.
He's an Origin dog as well. He hates Queensland. Like, he's come out in press conferences and said that he doesn't like Queenslanders, and that's the sort of thing that we need. But look, the players we've got to watch out for: Harry Grant, Cam Munster, Sam Walker.
Hopefully his head's turned a little bit with the news about his contract and up for
Who did
signing.
I hear? Some ridiculous that the Eels might go for him, or even the Dragons.
If the Dragons get on him, I'm lumping on them making the 8 next season.
I'll tell you, they could be a decent little force to be reckoned with actually next year. A little one season in a window shot at it, but. We've got the Queensland Maroons at $1.55 and the New South Wales Blues at $2.50. We love an underdog tag.
Yes.
Where do you reckon it's going? What do you reckon's happening?
I'm not going to back anyone else other than the Blues, am I? I'm going to stick. Stephen Crichton's going to turn up, have an absolute dog of a game. Bradman Best.
Score. Give me a score.
12-10.
You're telling me they're big games and it's won by 2 points.
It's going to be 2 points. They're going to just have a defensive and attacking masterclass.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I could be chatting absolutely.
I reckon it's going to be like 2018. I reckon it's going to be a close one. What did I hear Gordon Tallis say? As long as we win by half a point, that's all that matters. And that is it. Just go up there, put the body on the line. I really hope it's got that Origin 3 game vibe from 2 years ago.
2024.
Where it was literally non-stop for the first half hour. And it was just like the most physical game. I'm hoping it produces that. I do feel like it's been somewhat overshadowed by the World Cup, though. I don't know whether that's just an England perspective or Australia because the Socceroos were doing all right. Yeah. It's almost like it's been on the back burner.
Not really heard about it.
Nah, it's a bit strange. So it'd be interesting to see how the boys come out. And I hope it's an absolute barnstormer.
Barnstormer, yeah.
Talking of non-barnstormers, though, let's get into it. I hate it. I hate talking about it. But we got brought back down to earth with a crash, losing a game at the Commbank that we should have won.
Yeah. 100%, and you mentioned it before. The errors column is where it was lost.
Yeah,
you don't make 5 of them, and I reckon you win the game comfortably.
You don't make one of them. Like, I think even Bullimore, I get it. You see the try line, you think you can reach it, you go for it, and then you fall up short. But momentum would have taken him over, and then we're 2 points behind or something like that at that time. I just it brings back all the memories. Joey Walsh's little flick, fantastic. Yeah, Turbo was not expecting it one bit.
Which surprises me for a player Turbo's quality. Like you can always expect the ball, and he looked like he never played footy in his life trying to catch it. And it is quite frustrating. But I've seen so much negativity about it, and I calm myself down. I think after the Dogs game, like you look at the 3 games that Manly have lost within the Origin period. Sharks lost by a try, Dogs lost by a point, and then this game we lost it ourselves.
Yeah, the Parramatta are all right. Like, don't get me wrong, Dylan Walker's little flick behind was quality, but our defence was solid. Like, in general, it wasn't too bad. They did make a number of line breaks, but when it needed to step up, it did. And we, like you say, we killed ourselves. It's a game that we should have won. And like Foz's comments after, I love the passion. The first thing I'll say is Seabold would have come out and said there were plenty of good things from that game. We can take a lot of positives, blah, blah, same old rhetoric that comes out all the time. But Foran comes out and talks about that up and down. We've got to find out why. But the why is we've lost 2 of our best players.
Yeah.
Like,
you make a massive difference as well.
But it's because it balances the field, right? If you've got Turbo swinging one way, you've then got a threat of Kohler on the other side that they have to consider. And if you've got Turbo swinging one way, you've got Olaquati on the inside of him, like swinging to the right. So, and the threat that he put, like any team would, I think, be in trouble losing those 2 players.
Also losing Falallo early, Ben Travojevic having to play centre again, then go back to centre second row. Like, again, people calling for his head. He's probably been the most consistent player throughout the season. Had a great start to the season. He's had a good season.
Yeah. Leafi was impressive. His running was impressive.
He's a strong runner. And you look, he's in the team as a second rower. He's then been made to put a centre where he's in more of a vulnerable position in the defensive line. Look, and it completely messes with your game plan. He's not a centre. He's just a backup centre, and that hurt us as well.
And I'm guessing at that point he didn't want to bring Felady on because he didn't know what was going to happen with Falalo. He ended up coming on later, but I mean, look, he's been out of a pec injury, but Waddell was below par. I think he's lost a game step. Like, he wasn't reading.
I think he's been brought back a bit too early, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit undercooked. But look, can we be written off for the top 4? Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think these next 3 games are huge. So I reckon beating the Cowboys at home, Titans away, and then the Sharks at home. Yeah, I think if we go and do that and do it comfortably, I think it shows that we are top 4 in waiting, because then we go into the bye before the sort of storm away. But it's going to be that Titans away, which is the big one, because we've really struggled with away games which we're supposed to win. Yeah. And that would be I think that the key mark. If we lose that, I don't think we're going to make the 4. Yeah. But Luke Brooks, big loss. Like, huge. I think we've lost some impact for like Takiaho. Yeah. Big loss in the front. Like, Leafi's coming in, but he's young. Brandon Wakeham, it'll be good when he comes back. Simpkin, I don't know whether he's an 80-minute player. No, he's not.
But Luke Brooks, just defensively and his organisational skills, Joey Walsh will get there, don't get me wrong, but it's a couple of weeks of experience to get him where he needs to be. But look, he puts his body on the line. He's not scared of getting hit, so he's out there. But anyway, am I going to the Commbank again?
Probably.
Yeah, I probably will. I probably will. But let's talk about one thing I thought when I was out there, actually. Obviously, all this talk about Brookvale being redeveloped. And I was thinking, do you know what? The top part of the Commbank, take away the bottom layer. That would be perfect for man. Steep. It'd be quite steep. And then you can have the concourse underneath coming round and through. Be interesting to see how that develops, because I've seen some pictures of it. And
yeah, I wouldn't mind it as like 4 separate stands. As in, like, still keep the concourse as it is, but then just build the steepness off it. Yeah, I think that would be quite nice. I don't know whether I'm sold over the bowl effect. Yeah, where you can just go anywhere and stuff. They are pretty amazing, in that regard, but it can be a bit soulless. Whereas you don't.
We said that on Saturday when we were there on Saturday. We said even though there was 18,000 people in there for a 45,000 seat stadium, it was like, there's not much happening here. But that's why I think it should only be the top part. Yeah. Because if you add the bottom part in, that adds another 15,000 people. Like, yes, Man, you have a good support and it'd be on the northern beaches, but I don't think you get 35,000 people there week in, week out. So I reckon the sweet spot would be around 25.
Yeah, 25. I think you need to still keep a little bit of a brookie feel to it. Yeah. And not over ramp it too much. I think it'd be devastating to get rid of the hill, because I think that's quite a bit.
It's inevitable.
It is inevitable, but it is part of the history. But no, I get what you're saying.
Anyway, let's start off with the Dragons. I said they'd do it. I said
you did. Like, that was an incredible pick, to be fair.
I tipped the Dragons.
That was an incredible pick.
It looked at one point, I was like, I don't know whether I've made the right decision here, and then they blew them off the park towards the end. Second win of the season. I was watching it and they actually looked all right. Like, they were moving the ball. Because the biggest concern I had was that the Dragons are terrible and they're not going to be able to score, and they stuck 24 points on them. But on that, have you ever played for a team that has been in the Dragon situation where you've been terrible all season and you just jag a few wins?
Yeah, there's like one of the club that I played rugby for growing up. We were dreadful, absolutely awful, and we beat. I think when we got to like 16, 17s, we hadn't won all game, and then we just mustered this performance against Kidderminster and absolutely hammered them. And then the last game of the season, we had a local derby against Old Eds, who I think we'd beaten earlier in the season as well. So out of that 20-odd game season, I think we only won 3 games. And again, we just just turned up and were incredible. So yeah, I know what it's been like to be absolutely shafted all season and just get the odd win.
It's a morale booster.
It is a morale booster. It's better when you're not expecting, like that Kidderminster game. I think they were like third in the league or something at the time, and we
toppled them.
We blew them off the park. I was playing scrum half, absolutely dominating the pack.
No wonder why you were in the way you were.
We don't talk about that.
In my first year at university, it was like the first season the team was put together, and we were terrible. Like we weren't that bad. Like we were all right, but we went up to Reading and we played against them and we beat them in extra time, overtime. And the scenes, like it was a mud bowl and we were just diving on the floor and everything. Like it was the only win we got all year, and then we got a draw that was because I don't know. I don't think we had enough players in the other teams. But yeah, we won 1, lost 7, drew 1. So 1-7-1 for the season. Can't argue with that.
Nah.
But Dragons get their second win.
Yep.
Great tip. It propelled me. It was the only result. Sorry, the Manly result was the only one I got wrong this week. And it propelled me up the tipping ladder, only for me to come crashing down when Manly lose.
Very quickly.
Let's get on to Cronulla, Brisbane, 28-16. Madge still thinks that the Broncos can still make the 8. He still reckons they got a few players to come back.
Nah.
There's no way. Surely there's no way that the Broncos get anywhere near. But if he leaves at the end of the season, I think we spoke about this last week, it's still got to be a success.
100%. You came in one off the back of an Origin win with New South Wales, goes up to Queensland and turns that team into an absolute force and a team that can play 80 plus minutes comfortably. It is a success of a season. And this year they look like they've downed tools early with him. Don't know why.
There was talks out there about Haas going early.
Yeah, so I don't know what the issue is up there, but yeah, it will still be a successful tenure, I reckon.
Yeah, Sharks marching through the top 4, but easy fixtures after Origin. Be interesting to see how this period goes now. Yeah. Now that after Origin finishes, whether they can continue this momentum up, because I don't know, they got the mighty Manly Sea Eagles in 3 weeks' time.
That's what I mean. That's going to be a big. Pardon me. That's going to be a big test and a settler to see whereabouts they are.
It will be. But Dylan Brown getting his first ever extra point or field goal kick, beating the Dolphins. I thought Newcastle would win this one. Tip Newcastle to win this one because I thought the Dolphins would be impacted, but it was tighter than I expected it to be.
Really, really close game. Again, a game that could have gone either way quite comfortably in that regard. The Dolphins missing a fair bit of sting in their attack, which was definitely on show. Like, you're losing the hammer at fullback is always going to be a big big loss, and just couldn't get themselves in a position to ice it either. To be honest, but like they're both going to be in the 8. I think even Dolphins could even tip into the 4. If I'm being perfectly honest.
I agree. I fully agree. I think both teams look sharp. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good season running.
Yeah.
Who's going to make the 8? Who's going to make the 4?
It's so tight as well at the top. It's really, really tight at the moment. I hadn't realised, and I was trying to think back if it was like this close last season. I don't think it.
I think by this point, and I could be wrong, 6-1 were pretty clear of then.
And it was about fighting for 7 and 8.
Like 10 maybe, I think it was. We're pretty close, but... it'll be interesting to see how the run-in happens. But last game, Penrith get the win over the Dragons, over the Rabbitohs. Mm-hmm. Cody Walker, what are you doing?
Idiotic. Absolutely idiotic.
How old is he? 35, 36?
And the thing is as well, like, with the amount of cameras around, and you're never going to get away with something like that.
Nah.
So it's just an absolute brain fart from him.
I don't think I've ever been in a position where I've like fully lost my head like that. I don't think. I mean, I've been frustrated in a game. I've definitely pushed a few people. I've definitely like maybe sneakily put one in somewhere, but I don't think I've ever done something as blatant and obvious as kicking someone when there's. To be fair, I've never played in a game when there's 30 cameras around to be able to see
I think that's a slight difference.
But yeah, you ever have any head loss moments?
Yeah, first year playing American football, I punched one of the Durham Saints players while he had his lid on. It was just out of pure reaction. I broke my little finger. Learned my lesson quite quickly there. You don't punch someone who's got steel helmet on.
Yeah. One bad accident actually that I've seen. You made me think about this. I was playing Colts rugby, and we were playing in a semi-final, I think, at Clifton in Bristol, and someone had kicked off just before, as in a fighter kicked off just before, and then we scored, or they'd scored, and we kicked off, and one of our guys was running down the field, and I think out of like spite, a geezer stuck his leg out to try and trip one of our players up. I heard the loudest snap I've ever heard in my life, and his leg was just like facing in the wrong direction. So like, it's dangerous kicking out of people. Yeah. Very dangerous. But Penrith get the job done. Milky Jenkins scoring another hat trick.
His aerial. Like, I think one of the things about him was that his aerial presence wasn't a key to his game or a strength to his game. But this game, like him, like propelling himself off other people's backs to gain even more height.
Wouldn't out of place in the AFL.
Oh, he had another great game. Came back with a bit of a bang after a bit of a lull, I suppose.
Yeah, he did. But one of them was questionable whether it's double movement though. That's the only one that I was looking at a bit like. I'm pretty sure his arm was down, and then he's reached out and he scored. But I can't see anyone catching him. Like, who's the closest? Alex Johnson was creeping up on him.
The winger needs to Arce as well.
Yeah, but obviously Origin impacted. Cobbo.
Oh, again, Origin.
But we've already mentioned it. Ladder is shaping up nicely. Yeah. I think Panthers, you can almost guarantee them winning the minor premiership and then it down to finals football. But it,
quite comfortable.
It's looking good. Once this Origin period's out of the way, I'm looking forward to that being done. Everyone can settle back in and then the home run to the
home
finals.
Stretch.
Indeed. But let's get into next week's tips. Up first on the Friday night, we've got an 8 p.m. kickoff at Campbelltown. They're down in Campbelltown. We've got the West Tigers at $3.28 against New Zealand Warriors at $1.34.
Warriors coming back off the bye after watching that West Tigers performance as well. I think I'm going to be going the Warriors on this one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Tigers lost a few players through injury as well. I can't see them being able... Like, this Warriors team look good. I think the Warriors get this one done.
Yeah. Which leads us nicely into the first kickoff on the Saturday, the 3 o'clock kickoff with the Dolphins at $1.56 against the Sharks at $2.44.
This will be a good indicator of where the Sharks are. Dolphins will be Origin impacted because their players do play quite a heavy part in Queensland's side. But I think this will be a good one to let us know where the Sharks are. But I think the Dolphins win this at home.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the Dolphins come back and win this. I think they could put 13 plus on them as well.
So that's a bold call. Then we go out to the Accor for the 5:30 kickoff. We've got the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs at $1.58 against the Canberra Raiders, $2.39.
I think that the Raiders have been really poor in their last couple of wins. I think they only just got over the line against the Dragons. Bulldogs seem to be on a little bit of an up and up. Things start to seem to be clicking. So I'm going to go for the Bulldogs on this.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go the Raiders. And the reason why is because Crichton's going to have a full game at Origin. Yeah. I don't think, if he comes off injured. But I just think he's such a talisman for them that if he's out, then... And Burton got called into camp, even though Strange actually got cleared to play, didn't he? But I reckon the Raiders might jag this one.
And then we've got the last kickoff on the Saturday, the 7:35 at the Allianz Stadium. We've got the Roosters at $1.23 and the Eels at $4.20.
I can't see anyone other than the Roosters winning this. Like the Eels, they played a weaker Manly side without their two biggest attacking threats. The Roosters have got weapons all over the place. Roosters win this comfortably.
Roosters, no Ingani to Arce, double.
Yeah. And then on the Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff, the South Sydney Rabbitohs at $1.98 against the Newcastle Knights at $1.85. What a fixture this could be.
Oh, that could be huge. But the way the Knights have been humming in attack, I'm gonna go for the Knights in this one.
I'm going to join you on that. I think the Knights are going to be too strong for them. Again, depends on Kalen Ponga if he should back up, but it depends what role he plays in Origin. But I reckon the Knights win this.
And then 4:05 at Foz Pines Park, the Manly Seagulls at $1.53 against the Cowboys at $2.51.
Manly are winning this. Like, there's no doubt about it. And I look at the lineup, I see that Olaquatu's been named. Cola's been named. I think they'll be pretty fresh.
I think they'll be fine. I don't think they're going to play more than 40 minutes.
I don't think Cola will get on the field. The only way that he will is if Tedesco gets injured and he has to go to fullback, or like who else can drop back to fullback? I don't know whether like Crichton will go back to fullback. Imagine Nwangani Twase at fullback. Be an absolute beast. But that's the only reason. That's the only world in which I can see Cola coming on.
Yep.
So I think he'll be fully fresh. Olaquatu, I think will get maybe 40 minutes spell. So he should be fresh. I thought Dearden was going to be back for some reason for the Cowboys, but he's not. Man are winning this at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Manly as well.
And then the last game on the Sunday, 6:15 p.m, we got the Melbourne Storm at $1.34 against the Gold Coast Titans at $3.27.
Storm.
Yeah, I can't really see anyone else.
Storm.
I can't see anyone else winning this. But that's our tips for this week. If you've enjoyed the tips, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And we'd love to hear who you're picking through this round's fixtures. But a few other interesting sporting fixtures from around the world, especially involved in the rugby calendar, because the Rugby World Cup is coming up fast.
Yep.
And the Wallabies didn't look too bad against Ireland.
No, they didn't. I think they've started to get themselves back into play after coming off the back of the Lions tour last year. I think they're really starting to hum.
Who's it?
At the right times.
Gordon, what's his first name? The geezer that played for the Titans and then came back to play Union. He solidified them in the middle. Is it Carter Gordon, I think. Anyway, but he looked all right, and they show a lot of like Suoliti's just a beast. And I completely forgot about this. They've got Zach Lomax to come into the fold as well,
and the winger Nitawase,
and Angus Crichton as well. I tell you what, they're going to be. It wouldn't surprise me. They play New Zealand in the pool stage.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if they catch them off guard early. And surprise New Zealand, and that means New Zealand have to, if all goes well, we'll have to play New Zealand in the quarterfinal at the Allianz.
Well,
no, at Accor. But we lost to South Africa. We got absolutely turned over by. So it was. To be fair, the first half was close. We got blown away in the first. I don't know if you watched the highlights. Did you see any of it?
No, because I thought I knew how this game was going to.
But we got blown away in the first 15 minutes, and then we came back into the game. I think we got caught off guard with the strength and pace. Blame the altitude. And then we came back. It was tight at half time, and then they just blew away in the second half.
Such a good team, South Africa.
I worry. I worry for England. With big year
so
ahead.
Inconsistent. Like the start of the year was like 7 games unbeaten, going into the Six Nations.
Well, then we tailed up Wales, and then after that,
it's just been absolute dross.
But apparently, the game of the weekend was New Zealand France. There was zero box kicking going on. They were just running at each other.
Love that. All for it.
New Zealand come out 34-32 winners. But that's it. Origin tomorrow night. Am I buzzing for it?
No, I'm not.
We'll see how it goes. But if you've enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you later.